The Department of Public Works and Highways is dismissing two Bulacan district engineers amid the ongoing probe into anomalous flood control projects in the country. In a press conference on Friday, September 12, DPWH Chief Vince Dizon says the dismissal orders against former Bulacan 1st District Assistant Engineers JP Mendoza and Bryce Hernandez are now ready. The DPWH earlier filed draft charges before the Ombudsman against Mendoza, Hernandez, and other DPWH employees and contractors. They were charged due to 5 anomalous contracts in Bulacan. The case stemmed from the Internal Audit Services inspection from August 13 to 20. Citing the inspection report, the complaint stated that there was a consistent pattern of fraudulent misrepresentation, falsification, collusion, and blatant disregard of Commission on Audit regulations across multiple contracts. At the House Infra Committee hearing on September 9, Hernandez alleged that Senators Jinggoy Estrada and Joel Villanueva asked for a 30% cut from the cost of flood control projects in Bulacan. In the same hearing, Mendoza claimed Villanueva complained about low allocations for flood control projects in Bulacan, citing supposed screenshots of their conversations. Both Estrada and Villanueva have denied the accusations made against them. The Senate Blue Ribbon Panel will not terminate its investigation into anomalous flood control projects in the country despite the creation of an independent Commission of Infrastructure. Senate President Tito Soto confirms on Friday, September 12, that the Senate will continue its inquiry in aid of legislation. He adds that the House of Representatives might stop its parallel investigation into the flood control mess. Newly elected Blue Ribbon Panel Chair Senator Ping Lacson earlier said the next flood control hearing will be conducted on September 18. Through Executive Order No. 94, President Bongbong Marcos formed an independent super body that will investigate corruption in flood control projects and all other public works over the years. The investigation will focus on projects that had been implemented since 2015. The 3-member Independent Commission for Infrastructure is tasked with investigating anomalies, irregularities, and misuse of funds in infrastructure projects nationwide. No official from the Office of the Vice President showed up for their budget deliberations at the House of Representatives on Friday, September 12. However, Palawan's 2nd District Representative Jose Alvarez says Vice President Sara Duterte will show up next Tuesday, September 16. During the House Appropriations Committee hearing on Friday, Panel Vice Chair Alvarez says the OVP sent a letter indicating that an Assistant Secretary would be present to defend the agency's budget. Since the committee would only accept a head of agency or an undersecretary to explain the budget, Alvarez says he advised that the OVP skip Friday's hearing.
Knowing that and consistent with the tradition of the House na dapat head of agency or the very least USIC ang pumunta dito to defend the budget of the agency. Noting the inconsistency doon sa letter, ako na mismo ang nag-advise sa kanilang umaga na wag na kayong pumunta dito dahil ganoon din kung wala si Yusik Zulaika Lopez. And then I have the assurance of the Vice President na she will attend by next week.
Meanwhile, Caloocan 2nd District Representative Edgar Arice says the minority would have given parliamentary courtesy for the OVP.
We in the minority set to extend to the office of the Vice President our tradition to give parliamentary courtesy to the office. But due to the technicalities, as explained by the chair, I move that the committee defer consideration of the budget of the Office of the Vice President until Tuesday.
Davao 3rd District Representative Isidro Ungab says he welcomes this gesture.
I appreciate and support the statement from the minority that they are willing to accord the parliamentary courtesy due to co-equal branch of government. This practice has been practiced since time immemorial here in this Congress. So next week, I hope that we will be granting the same parliamentary courtesy to the office of the Vice President, the second highest position of the government.
For his part, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino disagrees on providing parliamentary courtesy to OVP.
Due respect to my fellow member of the minority, hindi po buong minorya ang sumasang-ayon dun sa pag-extend ng parliamentary courtesy. whether sa Office of the President or sa Office of the Vice President. During the hearing of briefing for the budget of the Office of the President, inilinaw po natin yon, di ba? Na lalo pa ngayon, hindi po panahon para sa parliamentary courtesy. No, Pangulo mismo sabi niya, mahiya naman kayo, o dapat mahiya lahat ng nasa gobyerno kasama ang presidente at ang vice-presidente.
In 2024, OVP officers did not show up for the discussions on the 2025 budget after intense talks between the Vice President and lawmakers. OVP was originally allocated a 2.037 billion peso budget under the 2025 National Expenditure Program, but House lawmakers decided to cut this down after Duterte refused to directly answer lawmakers' questions at the August 27 hearing and skipped the subsequent discussions on September 10. Lawmakers were quizzing Duterte about her office's allegedly anomalous use of confidential funds. The Manila Regional Trial Court is allowing former Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Teves to post a 120,000 peso bail for his temporary liberty. In an order by presiding Judge Renato Enciso, the court grants Teves' motion for bail due to absence of any of the qualifying circumstances in the now complained killing of Lester Bato. Bato was killed on May 26, 2019. He was a bodyguard for Pasay mayoral candidate Cliff Cordova. However, Teves will still have to remain in detention as he is facing a separate murder case for the death of Governor Roel Degamo and 10 others. Teves was brought back to the Philippines on May 29 after his arrest in Timor-Leste. He sought asylum in Timor-Leste for nearly 2 years. Teves is currently under the custody of the National Bureau of Investigation at its facility in Building 14 inside the maximum security compound of the new Bilibid prison. The United States announces its plan to allocate $250 million or about 14.2 billion pesos in new assistance to the Philippines to address the country's acute public health challenges. In a statement, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says U.S. President Donald Trump is currently working with Congress to implement such plan. Through this assistance, Rubio says the governments of both countries will work together on tuberculosis and maternal health. Rubio adds that this aims to invest in preparedness, detection, and response capabilities to reduce the threat of emerging diseases. According to Rubio, this new plan builds on the $63 million in assistance announced during President Bongbong Marcos' official visit to Washington in July. He notes the July announcement was the first for any country following Trump's review and realignment of foreign assistance. The U.S. Department of State describes the new assistance as another demonstration of the comprehensive bond between the U.S. and the Philippines.